Morning, everybody. Moving right along with the coach's interview, I have modern day prep head coach Mike Pineiro. Mike, thank you for joining me.
And thank you for having us.
Um, Good to be back on the court. I bet you have your scrimmage later today. How's it feel being back out there?
It feels good. I mean, a lot of players were definitely in a situation where they weren't sure. So now that we have the scrimmage, at least it's starting to become more real because I feel like there's a lot of people who doubted, not, and at times I even doubted that we were even going to start, especially even start this soon. I thought we'd at least get pushed back another time. So at this point, I think a lot of people are in our program are chomping at the bit to try to get going and get the season started.
Yeah, a bunch of head coaches that I talked through, November, December, they were same thing that you were thinking. They were probably thinking like March, March 1st, they
Mm-hmm.
thought basketball would start.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's good to get back out there. And, I know a lot of teams are having COVID issues already, but, you know,
Yeah.
that's the way it's going to be this season. And hopefully by next year,
Mm-hmm.
we're back to normal. Um, I like to recap last season. What was your message or, goals last year, your first season at Mater Dei? What was the goals and the culture you were trying to set at the program?
Well, our first goal last year, well, at the time Trinity was in our division, and I think for a lot of the girls, they really wanted to beat Trinity. That was the goal, because if you would beat Trinity, and they wanted to win the division. So that was part of the goal for the team. Some of my goals were just to really start trying to put the program on the map again. Because in our gym we have the banner from basketball, and I don't think there's nothing for the girls since 1990.
Uh,
So for me, it's been a part of that was just building a culture and trying to build a program so that we can start putting things back up on those banners again.
that's yeah, and Mater Dei was always. I think when I was in high school, they were in the St. Rose division back
Yeah,
then. Yeah,
yeah.
so
Or St. Rose is in that division, and then they
yeah,
moved out a
yeah.
few years ago, and then now Trinity moved
I'm
out
trying-
after last season.
Um, I only got to see your team once. It was against Homedale in the Sure Conference tournament. Now,
Hmm.
for the most part, the first half, you guys threw everything at, Homedale struggled against your team, especially, you were very tough defensively against them.
Hmm.
Is that something, are you more of a defensive minded or, defensive minded coach?
Definitely. I think because defense is something that doesn't slump. So I always feel like if you have a good defense, you can always rely on your defense, and then if you're having a good offensive night, then with solid defense, then that's a great game. I actually played at St. Anthony's for Coach Hurley, and
Okay.
that was obviously if you come from there, defense is a staple of everything. So that's the same thing I try to get my team to buy into.
I'm going to sidebar a little bit. How was it playing for Coach Hurley? I know,
So, yeah.
um, my best friend growing up actually lived next door to the Hurleys in Jersey City before they moved down, to the shore area, and
Hmm.
um, I got to meet Bobby and Danny's sister because she was thinking of transferring to St. Rose when I was there. But how was it playing for him?
I mean, honestly, it was the best basketball education that you can possibly get. I mean, they're from every little detail that you can imagine in a game or in a basketball scenario, and even in life, you were tested on it daily, almost at every moment. You didn't really get too much time to really breathe. So it was almost suffocating to a certain extent because it's always like, especially when he's around, it's like you just tighten up, everybody tighten up, make sure everybody's, you're doing what you're supposed to do. So it was like getting a master's or a PhD in basketball. And I think a lot of the things that I learned there at the time that I was there is just still I carry with me today.
Playing for him, did that influence your decision to want to get into coaching?
That was part of it. That was
Okay.
definitely part of it. I mean, honestly, you just love it. When you love the game, you just want to stay involved as much as possible, and pickup ball once you start getting a little older isn't as fun as it isn't as fun as when you were a lot younger and lighter, and when you could wake up the next morning and feel okay. Now a game of pickup, you might need to call out of work for a few days and and get some type of biofreeze or Bengay regimen going. So I mean, when you're coaching it, it's good because I feel like it keeps you young because it keeps you involved. It's another way to compete. I don't have to necessarily go out there and guard you the 94 feet. I can just to have somebody do it, at least try to get them to do it, and it's still a competition. So that's pretty much what attracted me to keep coaching or just stay involved with basketball.
That's great. Moving on, to this season, what are some challenges that you may be seeing already, with or the kids dealing with, COVID and, new protocols that they put in place to try to keep the season moving along?
I mean, the mask. No one's really a fan of masks at this point. It's tough. That bothers them a lot. But I mean, obviously, the whole thing is if you want to have a season, these are the things that we have to do. That's the pretty much the bottom line of everything that you might want to complain about now. And not to mention, I don't think there's a lot of complaints though, because I think everybody had a wonderful learning experience from COVID and being locked down to appreciate opportunities you have to get in the gym and appreciate. I think it's like even when they're in the gym, it's just there's constant chatter. They're always talking. They're so happy to see. It's like I think they really learn to appreciate the game and appreciate the time that they have with each other.
That's great. I joked with Lisa at Madison with the mask thing because to me, she yells instructions every second. I was like, how are you going to do that with the mask on? And sure enough, I was streaming part of the home game and home delegate scrimmage, and there she was every second,
Yeah.
So, and you see on the professional and college level, these coaches keep getting in trouble for, when they want to yell instruction, it's just a force of habit,
Yeah.
And I understand that's probably going to be an adjustment for, coaches on the high school level as well.
Definitely. You're going to have to get a little louder and project a little more.
Now I would like to, go through your roster. You have 4 returning juniors that are seniors this year. First, we'll start with, I don't want to butcher her name, Jamani, is that?
Jamina Range.
Jamina Range. Scored 100 points, 80 rebounds, steals, assists. Looks like she did everything, a little bit of everything for her.
Yeah.
Can you just start talking about her? What do you think her role will be this season?
I mean, I think Jamina's game alone, she is explosive. I mean, she missed a few games last year to start the season because she went away. So she wasn't with us for the whole season last year. But even throughout the summer league, when they end of summer and fall league that they played in, it's like when you see Jamina, she just she makes quite an impact because she has such a high motor and she's all over the place. And she can be the one to grab a rebound, kick it, and still be at the rim. She pretty much can beat the ball up the floor sometimes and get there for a putback or anything like that. And even on the defensive ends, you always got to watch out for her because there's some passes that you think might be open and they're not going to be open because I think her closeout speed is just ridiculous.
Another junior that, scored 100+ points, Jalen Graham. What do you expect out of her this season?
Jalen, I mean, she's solid. She's a great defender. I mean, one thing about like on the ball defense, I pretty much, my thing is I like to put her on whoever the team's best ball handler is. I just want her to just be pesky with them and turn them in the backcourt and try to create turnovers. She can hit some open shots and she gets in the lane pretty well. So that's pretty much her role, what she does. And when she brings to the team, she's just, especially on the defensive side, she's a terror.
Another junior, Bridget Sullivan, not a lot of points last year, but, looked like she did a good job on the rebounding end. What are you expecting out of her this season?
Yeah, last year Bridget had to pretty much kind of play out of position. So because we had some people go down, so Bridget stepped in, and Bridget pretty much, she can play on the wing, she can play in the post, and defensively she's really solid. She's strong. She can pretty much guard anybody in the post area, and she plays them very well. And she's just a good basketball player. She knows the game and just tries to get everybody involved and stuff. Sometimes I'd like her to be a little more selfish and look for her, because sometimes her is the best option at that moment. but she's great.
The last junior that you had the return that played was Lara. What can you tell me about her, and what do you expect out of her this season?
Lara, shoot the ball. I just expect her to take shots, because when she's confidently shooting the ball, she can hit. I mean, I think last year I felt like there was a moment where she probably in a 2-game stretch may have missed 1 or 2 shots. So I think she can shoot the ball very well, and she's athletic. She can get up and down the floor like Jamina. They're both like, she can close out and guard a lot. She's wiry, so she can cause a lot of deflections. So I think she'll be doing a lot more of that this year as well.
You said that you have a couple seniors coming back that couldn't play last season because they were injured. Who are they, and what do you expect their roles to be?
I have 3 seniors that'll be playing this year. Or actually, just the ones that I lost last year were Jill Corcoran. Jill's a great shooter, very high basketball IQ. I think Jill's almost like my voice on the floor. We didn't have that last year because she was injured before the season with an ACL. But she's like a coach on the floor. She gets it. Her IQ is through the roof, and she knows exactly where people should be and what we should be doing, and helps guide everybody as far as where we're supposed to be and what they should be doing. And then Tori Kirk, she's about 6 foot. She plays in the post, and we didn't have her last year. She had some concussion issues that she had so that pretty much they 2-weeked her to death till the season was over, and she was pretty much not able to play all season. But I think she's going to provide a lot of depth on our front court, because she's so good around the boards. I think rebounding was a problem we had last year. Even in games that we might have won big, we were out rebounded. But I think with her back, and even Jill, I think we're going to be in a good position with that.
What is something you hope, you have a big senior class, was something that you're hoping they pass down to the underclassmen?
Just love for the game. Just love the game. Because one thing, I try to keep our practices fun for the most part. We do a lot of different things, and it's sort of like a kind of trick them into working hard, and they don't realize that we did so many things that if we had to probably much like the equivalent to it would be you probably ran 100 sprints and you didn't even notice, because you did it with a basketball and you did so many things and incorporated your basketball skills into it. So I think the hard work, loving the game, respecting the game, and just enjoying themselves. I think that's something that's important, because I'll take care of the rest. We'll be where we need to be.
That's great. Moving on to your junior class, your returning leader, your top scorer coming back, Madison Lopez. What do you expect out of her, and what kind of jump do you expect to see her from her sophomore to her junior year? Because to me, that's where you see a big jump is from your sophomore year to your junior year.
I just want her to be a confident floor general, because I think she's so capable of doing so. I think with her, she has a terrific handle on the ball. She shows you those flashes of some plays that it's like, wow, it's pretty dynamic stuff. So she's real good with that. I think with her, it's just believing in just letting go sometimes, because I think sometimes with certain players, you're so conscious of what's going on and maybe even concerned with doing the wrong thing, and it's like, oh no, don't mess up, and then before you know it, you're messing up because you're thinking don't mess up. So the best thing would be just play ball. I think if she plays ball, she'll be terrific.
Yeah, you see, she was definitely working out hard over the off season. You see.
Oh
her,
yeah.
I see everything in her dad posts, and and she, one of those girls that bounces all over to the different trainers. It appears like, sorry, that's my phone.
Oh, okay, I was just making because I thought it was sure.
That's my phone.
Okay.
I'm not gonna.
All right, no problem.
Okay. Do you have any other returners coming back from last season? Underclassmen?
Underclassmen, no.
No.
We're an old veteran team, but we're still pretty young.
Do you have any newcomers, any incoming freshmen that might make an impact on the varsity level?
I have I have a transfer senior
Yeah.
that came in, Leona Brown. I think she's really good player. I think we were fortunate to get her to be able to come in. Cause she has a very good basketball IQ, good ball handling. She's experienced. She's played varsity pretty much, I think, nearly all 4 years, maybe, in other places. But I think she'll be big for our team because she just has a really good IQ, very good shooter. And then a freshman that I have is Stephanie Mildner. I think she's from the Ocean area. I think she's got good hands. She's a post player, got good hands, pretty good shooter, good around the basket, and very good rebounder. I think she'll also be able to help us out in the post and around the basket to make us a better team.
What are some goals that you're setting for your team for this season?
For this season, I want to play all of our games.
That's a good one. I think one other coach said that too.
Yeah, we want to play our game, play as many games as we can and just play them as if they're going to be our last, because they very well could be, because if they want to shut us down tomorrow, they're going to shut us down tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So just leave it all out there and play hard and, just help build this program. I think if we just do what we're supposed to do and keep our heads down and keep working hard, eventually the program will be where it needs to be.
Are you a fan how the Shore set up the postseason this season with 1 through 8, 9 through 16?
Yeah, I think that's it's pretty good. I mean, it's you're limited to 3 games, so yeah. I think they did the best thing that you can possibly do in that situation, mm-hmm. and it gives everybody a chance to feel like there's still like the season's still going on up until the last day. Because for some people, when it's your last day, and this year everybody's days for the most part going to be the last day, barring any COVID issues. But I think everybody just play hard through the last day and give it all you got.
Okay. I just want to talk your division real quick. You got mm-hmm. Asbury, Kingsburg, Keyport, Point Beach, and Henry Hudson. Mm-hmm. Who else were you able to pick up? Right, you could pick up one game.
We actually were able to pick up 2 games. So we picked up Hudson Catholic.
Oh wow!
We're going up to Hudson Catholic on the 30th, and we'll also be playing a Trenton Catholic to the 27th of February.
Those are 2 really good challenges.
Hey, I mean, we got to play people. That's what the thing is. Everybody says you got to, in order to compete, you want to be able to play the best, and I think for me, that's what I give my players the opportunity to do so. We're not trying to duck anybody, so we will play top teams, and eventually, that way we can try to increase our schedule, and also it helps our girls out so they can have the opportunity to put some film against some really good teams.
Yeah,
and they can put some film against really good teams out there to coaches.
That's a good point too. Mm-hmm. Don't usually think about that. Mm-hmm. So that's all I have. I appreciate you taking time out this morning. Busy schedule, and good luck later today against Matawan. Where is that game? Your gym or hers?
It's gonna be at Matawan.
At Matawan, at her gym.
Yeah.
So she's good. She's gonna build something there. Hopefully,
That's great to see. I think every team that should be everybody's. Everybody's angle. You want to build it, because I think essentially if every team in the Shore is just amazing, then it just makes the whole Shore even more powerful and more of a national staple. So I think I want everybody to build a great program, because essentially that's going to happen is all the kids are going to be better for it.
Yeah, that's why you're a private school. I asked the public school teachers this about coaches, about mm-hmm. developing their relationships with the local middle schools and the local rec mm-hmm. programs, to help build the public schools that don't necessarily aren't considered for basketball. That might be mm-hmm. another considered for like another sport. So I look forward to that, and I look forward to seeing your team this season. Are you guys going to be streaming? Everybody likes me to ask every coach.
Yeah, we'll be streaming. We're probably going to have a Facebook group We'll be streaming it on Facebook and probably YouTube. Everything, we're everywhere we can stream it. We're gonna
Okay.
stream it. So I'm
Okay.
gonna
Yeah.
try to have it on multiple platforms where the games could be streamed.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, because I'm putting a list together for anybody that wants me to email it out where every school could be found and stuff. So it'd be
Mm-hmm.
easier
Mm-hmm.
because 46 schools. You might not know where your kid's playing. When your kid's on the road, where you can find the game and stuff. So
Yeah.
that'd be good. I'll add that to the list.
Yeah. We'll
All
make it
right,
public.
Coach. Thank you for taking time out this morning, and
No,
good luck to you and your squad.
all right. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
No
Take care.
problem.